Saturday night edition of the Anaheim Calling Podcast. We are here to discuss a 2-1 defeat from the Anaheim Ducks at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers. The Connor McDavid-less Edmonton Oilers. McDavid, who is out on a 2-game suspension for an illegal check to the head.
Yeah.
Is that the official tagline there? Yes. So
yes,
the Ducks
illegal
tonight,
check to the head on Nick Leddy.
On Nick Leddy. So the Ducks tonight, not really any roster movement. The only thing of note, really, right before the game, an hour before the game, they announced that Sam Steele had been called up to participate in tonight's game. And Sam Steele, a native of the Edmonton area. I was actually Googling this. So were the Gulls playing in San Diego tonight?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty positive they were in San Diego tonight. Let me double check that real quick.
So I Googled how long a flight is from Orange County to Edmonton, and with connections, it's like 6 hours.
Well, why wouldn't he fly out of San Diego?
Well, let's just say he did fly out of San Diego.
Yeah,
then.
San Diego is a bigger airport than Orange County.
Really?
Oh yeah, 100%. I would think so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, John Wayne's a miniature airport.
Right, but I mean in terms of like the flights that come out of there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I was looking up was how long it takes. So this is kind of a complete aside, but so it's about 6 hours. So it means he was probably called up around 10 a.m. this morning, and the news only came out right an hour before the game.
I guarantee you. So this move probably came through right when Getzlaf was determined to not be able to go last night, and so
right. But they got to get him physically to Edmonton. Though,
no, I know, but that's my point. Is like he could probably
right.
jump on the very first plane from San Diego to Edmonton,
right?
And yeah, so I mean, you're right. He probably took a while to get there, but
right. My point is only that the news came down the pipe right before the game, but the decision was made far before that.
The decision was probably made last night when Getzlaf, if they determined how injured he actually was.
Well, yeah, because you got to book the flight.
Yeah.
So, and that, anyway, that's a total...
really big aside.
That's the tangentialist tangents I think that we've been on. But anyway... so the Ducks drop it 2-1, and really the only thing of note from this game is the way that it ended. Controversially, with just under 2 minutes left, the Ducks had the goalie pulled, Kevin Boyle, who did get the start tonight. Corey Perry, it looked like that he had tied the game, a good celebration. Turns out that was not meant to be.
Nope. So as it turns out, call on the ice was no goal due to goaltender interference. Adam Henrique, as he's driving the net, has a little bit of contact caused on him by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and then he ends up crashing in. I don't know if crashing in is the right way. Making contact with Mikko Koskinen. Through that contact, Koskinen spins, puck kind of shoots out from below him, goes to Perry, Perry buries it. So it's a little bit of a controversial play because you could make the argument that Adam Henrique was forced into the goal and forced into Mikko Koskinen. The contact was enough there where that is goaltender interference no matter what. What you have to go to is in the rule book there is actually a stipulation where if a defending player initiates the contact that drives the player into the goalie, that actually is not goaltender interference because it's driven by the defending player. So it's how you view that contact. I don't know if that contact by Nugent-Hopkins is enough to make the call, but it's definitely right on the borderline, and I think what it came down to was they ended up reviewing it because I think it's underneath 2 minutes. Anything is automatically reviewed by Toronto, and it's not even a coach's challenge at that point in time. And so what ended up happening on this play specifically was the call on the ice stood. So pretty much the officials looked at it. They didn't see anything that would be enough to either confirm or overturn it, which basically is kind of what we're saying. It's kind of in this weird middle ground where you could maybe rule on it either way and be fine with that. And so the call on the ice had to stand. And so I know there's probably going to be Ducks fans out there that are kind of pissed off saying that should be a goal because he was pushed into Koskinen and such. But at the end of the day, the call on the ice was not a goal. And upon review, that call had to stand. And so it's one of those where it was how the ref on the ice in that split second determined what it was. And so I'm not really going to put my arms up about it too much, simply because it is one of those that I don't really know if I'd call it a blown call.
Yeah, no. I mean, the way that the rules are set up to be interpreted by the NHL, the minute that was ruled no goal on the ice, you pretty much knew it was going to stand.
Yeah.
Or the call on the ice was going to stand, because the evidence was, well, I mean, it's in the play itself. There wasn't enough in the play to show that either A, Henrique had been pushed into Mikko Koskinen, or B, that the contact made was not enough to affect Koskinen's ability to do his job.
And I think the other thing is, and this is kind of something where that they've tried to reinforce over the past year, is to not overthink it too much. What you see on the ice in the replay is kind of what is there. Don't overthink it. Don't put too much thought into it. And
I think it was enough. It was enough to warrant the interference.
Yeah.
Because it didn't move him, and that, I think, shook the puck loose. And then Perry was able to score on that.
Yeah. So
on that,
basically, what it came down to is whether you viewed the contact with Nugent Hopkins as enough to warrant the call on the ice being overturned.
I think that your frustration with this begins with, did you think that the call on the ice was actually a good call to begin with?
Yeah.
like you're just saying here.
And like I said, I think it's iffy. I think you could honestly look at that and be fine either way.
Yeah, I thought it was the correct, and like based on what I've seen about the way this rule is interpreted, I wasn't too surprised by the outcome. Really nothing. We kind of got a bit ahead of ourselves there, but that's fine, because this game was not all that action.
Well, that was probably the most impactful and most noteworthy thing to come out of this game.
Every game needs a story, and this will be the story of this game. Really not any big lineup changes, though. Like I mentioned, Boyle in net, Steele called up, Gibbons sent down to San Diego, Sprung remaining a scratch. I guess that's...
He is so far in the doghouse. Is he gone? Is he gone
I don't
on
think
Monday?
No, it's funny, because we were talking about this last night, and I've given it some thought. This has been it's a deeply held issue to me. No, but it's just that he's a right winger. And right now, the right wings are Perry, Terry, Silverberg, and Rowney. And Terry isn't up to watch games from the press box, and Rowney, Silverberg, or Perry aren't coming out. So I actually don't even think he's in the doghouse. I just think that when Terry has to go back down for the AHL playoffs, we'll see Sprong as a regular.
Do you think that they want to get a run in on Terry and kind of get a couple last shots at viewing him, and so they're gonna they're basically playing Terry for now, and then Sprong will get a shot to kind of impress and see what he can do down the stretch.
Yeah, because I think that on the left side you have Raquel, Jones, and then Shore and Richie, and they're not going to put Sprong on his off wing. Out of those four, no one's coming out, because again, it's the same thing as the right side. Jones isn't up to watch games. He's up to get an audition with the team. And then none of Raquel, Shore, Richie are coming out. So Sprong isn't going to play on his off wing to replace any of those guys. So I don't even, we've talked a lot about how his days could be numbered. And I'm almost regretting saying that now, because I think this is just more of a logistical thing.
And maybe this is something after time and us thinking about it a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, Daniel Sprong is the same age as Troy Terry. And so maybe
he's 21.
We have this view of Daniel Sprong because he's been in the lineup all year. We kind of view him as this more developed prospect than Troy Terry. The fact that he was traded for, different things like that. I'm wondering if maybe they are kind of taking that view of him and Terry are kind of in the same exact boat, and they need to be kind of assessed in that same manner. And so they're giving Terry this shot, and then they're going to send him down for the run for the Calder Cup, and then Sprong will get the look then.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think Terry, they obviously are pushing for him to succeed more because he's homegrown.
Yeah,
but they also traded out a homegrown guy in Pettersson to get Sprong. So clearly, there's definitely an incentive to make it work with Sprong as well.
This brings up the question. Fire Carlisle in our Twitch chat, which is a great username that is no longer relevant, but I still love it and it needs to be kept.
Aren't you happy it's no longer relevant?
Yes, I'm 100% happy that it's no longer relevant. We don't know the status of Carter Rowney. As we're kind of jumping around in this game a bit, Carter Rowney left this game and did not return.
That's true. And that might be the biggest takeaway. Carter Rowney, who I believe, let's see here. Carter Rowney, who is signed to 2 more seasons after this year at age 29. So, yeah, I mean, that's something to monitor, especially in the coming weeks. Could it mean an extended Terry cameo?
Maybe. I mean, he's still gonna be a paper transaction on Monday. That's for sure.
Or it just means that, well, let's see. So if let's assume Rowney is injured long term, that leaves you with Sprong obviously has to come back in, and then Getzlaf being out could actually make things a little complicated.
Why?
Because if you look at, so that's another thing we should mention is that, well, okay, let's figure out this Rowney thing first because I have something else to bring up here. So with Rowney being out, I think we see an extended Terry cameo, but I don't know the rules surrounding that, so I don't know if that's doable or not.
Well, I mean, so here's the rules surrounding it. Essentially,
is it that he can't come back up once he's been sent down?
You're only allowed 4 call-ups after the trade deadline. 4 non-emergency call-ups.
So hypothetically, he could be sent back down at any time, right?
But he has to. So here's the thing. He has to be sent down before the trade deadline on Monday in order to be eligible for the AHL playoffs. Once he's sent down and then he's recalled after that, that counts as 1.
Okay, so here's a niche conspiracy theory / thing to look for. So if you see Terry get sent down on Monday and Rowney is listed as injured, expect it to be a paper and he comes back up.
You're thinking on emergency?
Yeah.
Well, so the way emergency recalls work, it's not just filling in a role for someone that's hurt. You have to have not enough players to fill the roster out.
Well, I mean, who do they have right now? I mean, I guess they could call back up Gibbons,
I guess, yeah,
who was sent down.
No, so...
Because on the right side,
I guess
technically you could.
Technically you could, because right now they're at 14 forwards, and that's with Getzlaf and Carter Rowney. So if they send down Troy Terry and put Rowney and Getzlaf on IR, that leaves them at 11 forwards. They send down some defense, then they do an emergency. That's a really weird workaround. I don't know the specifics of emergency recalls, if you can send down guys like that to then call them up on an emergency basis when they were just on the roster, but that's weird.
There you go. There's your fun little sub-narrative.
Really quickly on this,
Fire
Carlo asks, are they going to have to waste 1 call-up to send Boyle down and bring him back up? No. And this is actually something I need to look into more on this, but he is technically an emergency recall right now because without Boyle in the lineup, they would not have 2 healthy goalies because Chad Johnson and John Gibson are both on injured reserve. So Kevin Boyle is is an emergency recall. Now, the one thing I don't know is if that kind of exempts him from having to be sent down and then called back up to make him eligible for the AHL playoffs, if he's automatically eligible because it's emergency. But no matter what, even if he's sent down, if Johnson and Gibson are still on IR, that is an emergency recall, so that does not count as one of the 4.
This is how you tank, folks. This is how you get it done. These are the things you have to do. Another thing that I wanted to point out about tonight's lineup, the Raquel back at center experiment has been canceled.
It was canned.
It took
Thrown
one
away.
game.
Thrown away.
Derek Grant, first line center tonight.
Why are we reliving this world?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer for you.
Like, it's a great bit and it's funny and it's entertaining, but does anyone remember how awful that Ducks team was?
Yeah, I mean, that's look, we've talked about that enough. So, do you want to break down the game here a little bit?
Yeah, so let's jump into the game a little bit here. I mean, my overall thoughts on the game is this is kind of a weird one. This is one where the shot quality versus shot quantity debate is very much alive and real, because if you look at the shot quantity, the Ducks dominated this game. They had 59 shot attempts for, 33 shot attempts against. I mean, here, I'll show on the screen. Hopefully it works. It is not. I'll come back to it in a quick second. But they had a lot of the shot attempts. They had a fair amount of per natural stat trick, the scoring chances even at 23-19. but the high danger chances is where they lost 7-9. And if you look at something like expected goal totals on the night, you'll see that the Ducks didn't have the better of the chances. They really did not tonight. And I think expected goals on the night per money puck ended up at, in all situations, 2.2 for the Oilers, 1.63 for the Ducks. So
it was really just a quiet game for both teams. There was a pretty low event game overall. Not a lot of chances either side. Not a lot of quality looks or quality playmaking. It was just kind of one of those games where it felt like both teams were just trying to play not to lose because they're both two teams that have been struggling.
Yep. And if you look at the heat map, so the heat map's now up on the screen for this game. A lot of the Ducks' shots were kind of from all over the place. They had some from in front of the net, some from the point, some from the slot, but it was kind of all over. Whereas the Oilers, majority of the Oilers shots, even though they didn't have a whole lot, were all kind of from that inside area. And so if you think about the Oilers' first goal, which we haven't really even talked about, but
we will.
Oh, we will? I was about to talk about it right now.
No, I mean, well, let me just break it down here for you, just to lay the context for what you're about to describe. So, first goal of the night for the Oilers, Josh Curry, first NHL goal after a lengthy minor league stint. It's a dump in from Edmonton to start things off. Brandon Montour goes to clear it. Not sure who he was really. I think he thought someone may have been open on that play because it wasn't really a true dump. It was more like a pass. It goes back to the point for Edmonton. Kevin Boyle kind of leaves the rebound sitting out front, but neither Montour nor Jason Magna are able to clear the puck from out front or clear out the rebound or box anyone out. And so Curry's able to get to the loose puck, and he makes it 1-0. Not a great moment for the young Montour-Magna pairing.
No, not a great moment from that pairing at all. I mean, they kind of got lost, and it was almost like no one knew who they should cover in that specific play, as Magna didn't fully go to the guy in front of the net and didn't also either cover the back door. Montour was caught in no man's land. And then, I mean, you can't really blame Boyle too much, but rebound control is not his best friend on this play. And I think as a whole on the night, that's one thing you can maybe look at for Boyle and say his rebound control is not where you'd like to see it.
Right. Well, look, here's a couple things that I want to say. So if you look at this play, you could make the argument that it's not all Brandon Montour's fault because in this situation, he makes a defensible decision where yes, he probably should have taken an extra look, but clearing it up, soft up the wall there is fine because his winger should have been on the wall ready to get a pass. Instead, I believe Rickard Rakell was just kind of hanging out low, kind of in no man's land. And so there was no option there for Montour. That's a riskier play for him to make. And then as the rebound comes back out front, Derek Grant probably isn't as low as he should be. So it's not just the pairing there, but but that's their job. That's the thing. So you can't totally let them off the hook either.
Yeah, definitely on that play.
Yes. So let's talk about the second goal of the night. Sam Gagner partying like it's 2008.
How is he back on the Oilers?
That
is the weirdest thing to me. When I saw that trade happen, I was just like, I don't know if I should really I just feel bad.
Sam Gagner is part of the first of 7 rebuilds for the Oilers.
He was the initial main piece for the rebuild.
I remember when he, in his first season, I think it was 06, 07, or no, maybe no, it was 07, 08.
Yeah, because they went to the Cup final in the 06 season and then were god awful in the 06, 07 season.
Because Pronger left, and then
came to Anaheim, saw the light.
The reason why I remember that it was that season is because that was the first season of Reebok Edge, and they had the Oilers had those god awful jerseys, like the ones that the Avalanche had.
They had the full
piping.
Yeah, but it didn't have a full thing around the arms either. It had the half thing around the arms.
Some of the worst jerseys you'll ever see.
Yeah,
you should put that up.
It wasn't just it wasn't just the piping though. It was the the I can't even think about the name of it.
Just type in Oilers 07, 08 jersey.
The striping,
and put it in the chat here. I want people to see this.
I'll just put it on the screen.
Or that's what I mean. That's what I mean in the screen. So that should be a reminder to everyone who's not currently a Twitch subscriber Jake, you want to break down how that works?
Yeah. So for those of you, and there it is on the screen. You can see. Yeah, see, there it is. The thing around the sleeve. It doesn't go all the way around. It's like just the underneath.
Those are so bad.
It's so bad.
Those are so bad.
It's so bad. These jerseys also, not terrible. Not as terrible as...
Type in Sam Gagner 0708.
Are you just going to start forcing me to do stuff on this show?
I mean, you need to teach me how to do this so that I can do it, but I don't think I can actually while you're operating. No, they looked even worse on the ice.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. But there's one.
Oh,
and Andrew Cogliano in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
The kid line.
Oh, God, that is so bad.
The kid line, Sam Gagner, Robert Nielsen, Andrew Cogliano.
Like, I can't believe that someone looked at those jerseys and thought, yeah, that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah. So for those of you listening to the recorded version of this or watching this on YouTube, you also actually will see all of this gloriousness because it's part of the video element. But we do a Twitch stream of this show each and every podcast where we will, where basically it's a way for us to interact live with you in the chat. You can interact with us live, try to make me laugh, different things like that. And on Twitch, you can actually help support us in a way that's completely free to you. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime sub each and every month. You do have to hit that subscribe button again after 30 days, but it is a way that's completely free to you to support us and really, really help us financially.
Absolutely.
And with that Twitch sub, you get special emotes in the chat. And actually, we got good news from Twitch. We're allowed a second emote as an affiliate. So,
wow.
I am figuring out in the works of putting together a second emote that we can have.
Just get Capo Caco in there.
No, he's not going number 1 overall.
Well, what if the Ducks don't get number 1? Don't you want an emote for number 2?
Ye of little faith.
I mean, did you see the highlight that Benny tweeted of Caco tonight?
No, I didn't.
Pretty sweet goal.
But regardless, and you get special badge next to your name. So it's a good time in the Twitch chat. I highly suggest checking it out and looking out for when we say we are live on this show. We're still in the recap, though. We haven't even gotten to questions yet.
Yeah, so we went on this massive tangent because of Sam Gagner, who we were mentioning. But Sam Gagner, on a delayed penalty against the Ducks, the Oilers are controlling it around the perimeter. They just kind of throw it in front. Hits Sam Gagner's skate, I believe, and then it goes through a crowd and into the net. Kevin Boyle isn't able to track it. And then late in the second, or just past the midway point in the second, the Ducks do get on the board. Nick Ritchie makes a really nice play, wins a battle along the wall, intercepts the clear, and he's able to attack the net with the puck, kind of drawing in the defense, and then out of the corner of his eye, sees Carter Rowney, feathers the puck over to him. Really nice play. Rowney's able to control it, sends it up high on Koskinen, and that would make it 2-1 with plenty of time left in the game. And, you could argue that down the stretch, I mean, the Ducks certainly had the better of the 5-on-5 play. All the stats in the third period, were in their favor. And really, they probably should have found a way to tie this game, I think. But when you kind of just don't really do a whole lot for the first 40, it's a lot to ask to bring it all together in the third period.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what's on the screen right now. So I'm going to go to Natural Stat Trick. You can see the game flow chart just strictly looking at 5-on-5 shot attempts, and at the end of the third period, it's strictly in the Ducks' favor, going down, down, down. Getting better and better. And so the Ducks were controlling play, really getting a lot of shot attempts on net. But when you go and look at expected goals, and especially I'm going to go to 5-on-5, you can see at 5-on-5, even though they're getting all these shots, they're kind of nothing shots. There's not a whole lot of actual substance there in terms of the chances they're getting. It's a 1% chance of scoring, 1% chance of scoring, 5% chance is kind of the biggest I'm seeing on here, 2% chance of scoring. And so it's very low percentage shots, which, yes, those are important from time and can lead to shots, lead to rebounds and things like that. But if that's all you're getting, you can't really generate a whole lot. And we talked about this a little bit. I don't remember if you were actually on that podcast against the Wild where the Ducks were kind of bleeding shot attempts. They didn't get a whole lot of shots for themselves. Yeah. But if you look at expected goals, it was a pretty even game. And that's kind of how this one was. The Ducks were really kept to the outside, by, I mean, quite frankly, this was a bad Oilers team. Like, this is a real,
it's a bad Oilers team without their best player.
We saw it in the first, 5-10 minutes when the Oilers had no shots on goal for a half a period, pretty much. Like, this was Ducks levels at the end of Randy Carlyle bad. And they're really, really bad. And the Ducks really couldn't exploit them and were kept to the outside by that Oilers team. And so, after what you could probably say were a couple really good performances in a row, this was a stinker.
I mean, the Ducks were also without Ryan Getzlaf. And so you do have to keep that in mind to some degree. And also, I mean, they're featuring guys like Sam Steele, Troy Terry, who have been, in Max Jones, who have been good lately, but this is also not, I guess, the Ducks at full strength either.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, though, that they should have found a way to generate more offense in this game. Let's kind of wrap up the recapping of this performance here by the Ducks. What were some of your general impressions? Let's start with Sam Steele. I mean, obviously has not gotten a call or the nod since his initial stint this season. How did he look to you after some pretty lengthy seasoning down in San Diego?
Yeah. So real quick, Quack City 22 chat in the chat said that game was just boring, or was boring. You can just say it, Jake. I'm like, yeah, it's boring. It was a very, very boring Ducks game. Sam Steele, though, I think he's an interesting player on the night where I think overall he didn't really do anything noticeable either way, both good or bad. But if you look at stats, and granted, we were just talking about how the Ducks had a lot of shot attempts, they weren't all that dangerous. He was on the ice for 94% Corsi for percentage. He was also on the ice for 83% scoring chance for. But if you look at it, he was on the ice for 16 shot attempts for, only 5 scoring chances for. So a lot of them were kind of to the outside. But I still think that's a good sign for him. But you can also look, he had 0 zone starts in the defensive zone. So every faceoff he took was either in the neutral zone or offensive zone or on the fly. So, I mean, that's a good job by the coaching staff.
I mean, that's probably how he should be getting deployed.
And I mean, we mentioned this. I don't actually even think we mentioned this on the show, but the other night when Henrique Terry Jones had a really, really good night.
Oh, we talked about it.
That they had only offensive zone starts.
Yeah, don't worry, I mentioned it.
Okay. But
that's how they should.
It's funny but that's good coaching.
Yeah,
that's very good coaching right there.
Yeah, that's Bob Murray hockey for you there. But one thing I did also want to bring up between, let's say, comparing Sam Steele to his peers, which are Troy Terry and Max Jones. So if you look at the level of involvement, Troy Terry tonight had 2 shot attempts at 5-on-5, and Sam Steele had 2. And one of his shot attempts was from closer in tight, which is considered a scoring chance, and it came off the rush. So if you just looked at the stats, you would think, Sam Steele had a decent game. You could even argue he was a little more impactful than Troy Terry, but I think that this is where the eye test comes in. Troy Terry was a lot more noticeable, just carrying the puck, making plays for others, while Sam Steele, was, like you mentioned, not good or bad. But I don't think he really showed anything tonight.
But I think that's the book on Sam Steele as a whole. I think that he's not. He's not a flashy player. He's not. He's more so a guy that just kind of does everything right. And I think the other thing with him, and this is kind of this is something I want to see moving forward from him is, or not what I want to see moving forward, but what I'm kind of evaluating tonight is, we talked about it. He must have taken a long plane flight. It was a long day of travel. It was a long trip for him to get to Edmonton.
Oh yeah.
Give him a day. Give him another game. I think.
Yeah. Let's see next game. Okay. Deal. Now, another thing I did want to bring up, since we're on the topic of the youngsters, Max Jones 5 shot attempts tonight, and this is at 5-on-5 and 2 individual scoring chances. So another game where Max Jones is getting pucks to the net. I mean, he continues to make me wonder if we should be talking more about him than the other prospects. Okay, any lasting or final notes, takeaways from this game?
I mean, the only other final takeaway from the game is the Ducks lost a game against a team that they're fighting with for potential number 1 overall pick. So with this win by the Oilers, they actually jumped the Ducks in less games played. So now the Ducks actually moved from having the 6th best chance of getting first overall to the 5th best chance of getting first overall.
Yeah. So this was a good night for the Ducks as the tank
movement.
Yes, for the long-term health of the franchise. Yes, as tank commanders. Isn't there a game like a mobile app like Tank Wars or something?
Probably one of those random mobile games.
Yeah, the freemium games.
Yeah.
Yes, but as tank commanders, this was a good night for us.
Yep.
Another thing that I wanted to bring up here. Well, did you want to get into questions?
Yeah, we got a couple. So I think
let's just jump in.
I mean, we did one yesterday. I think a lot of people are so hyped up on the trade deadline. We only got a couple questions tonight. But STFU Shane chimes in, good buddy of the pod. Shane said, how much of an effect did Bob Murray being behind the bench tip the scales of him extending Silfverberg because of the recent hot streak instead of trading him?
I don't think so, because he was already praising Silfverberg before he got behind the bench, saying he's one of our guys who stood up while things were going poorly. And so I don't think that that's what did it. Plus, I mean, there's just no way
we should give him a little bit more credit than saying a 3-game hot streak would dictate a contract.
I know fans have no confidence in GMs or coaches sometimes, but they are making multi-million-dollar decisions here, and you can't. These are smart guys at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we have Quack City 22 Chad saying, not a question, but Richie might have been the best player on the ice tonight. His contract was worth it. He was one of the biggest detractors of Nick Ritchie when we were defending him, saying he should sign. So he is eating his words officially on Nick Ritchie. He's still going to hate on Perry, though.
I thought Corey Perry looked good tonight.
I did too.
I thought that, I mean, if the goal had stood, he would have had the tying goal in the game. And I felt a little bad for him because he had such a solid goal celebration. But I thought he looked good tonight. I thought that I don't want to say he stepped up, but he definitely was the most noticeable Ducks forward, as he probably should be among this motley crew.
Yeah. All right. So Vandermel 25 or Vandermy 253 says, does the Getzlaf injury make a Henrique trade even less likely?
No, because the Ducks are already so far down the standings and they've already lost so much that they're not going to make, if they have a good deal for Henrique, they're not going to keep him just to not lose a few games in a season that's already lost anyway. You know, I think that if there's a deal to be made there, they will do it. And there's a little buzz still around the Ducks. It hasn't completely gone away yet.
Things may happen. Things may happen.
They may not. I don't know. We don't know anything until it happens.
Yeah. Spencer Woods 137 chimes in the Twitch chat just for you. What happened to the Montreal Canadiens today? You okay?
God,
as your friend, as your podcast mate. Let's go with that. Are you okay? How are you doing?
That was a rough one. That was a rough one.
For those of you
I'm not gonna lie.
For those of you that don't know, Montreal went up 3-0 on their hated rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and as it turns out, they lost the game 4-3.
6-3.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was worse.
There was 2 empty netters.
That's right, there were 2 empty netters.
Well, the last one was garbage because they gave up. They gave it automatically to Zach
That was the
Hyman.
right call.
That was stupid.
That was the right call.
He was given a goal for having his stick lifted.
That was the right call.
Shea Weber was right to go verbally abuse the refs.
He hooked him.
Shea Weber was right to go and assault the refs there. Anyway, yes, what happened tonight? You know, I hate to say it. There's 2 things. Two things I will say. So I think that not having Drouin in the lineup hurt. I think that not having Charles Hudon in the lineup was kind of a weird decision, given that this is the type of game he should be in. So I think a little coaching error there. And then I also think, and this pains me to say it, this wasn't Carey Price's best game.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that the Maple Leafs are a good team.
Well, they're really good, but I think that the Canadiens, they had a 3-0 lead. Like, you got to find a way to win that game. And yes, they made some mistakes that definitely cost them. but I think Carey Price, he was okay tonight. He wasn't the 5-hole goal against Matthews was kind of a tough one to accept for me.
All right,
So,
everyone, you got to go chug a beer right now because Felix just got in like more Montreal Canadiens stock and analysis than he's ever gotten on the show.
I was asked the question. Let the record show that I was asked the question, and that was not unprompted.
Hardcore Luchador said not having Hughes in our lineup really hurt tonight for the Ducks.
So I just got called out in the chat.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I'm getting. So Lockdown Late Night is saying that I sound 25 to 30 years older than I actually am. 25 going on crusty 55. Wow.
I mean, you do sound crusty. You do sound crusty.
Brutal.
I mean, you can also take it as you sound wise.
Brutal.
Sound wise.
Brutalized by the chat.
Kestrel Scott on Twitter. Let's go to this question. We got two on Twitter that I want to hit. Said, do you guys consider Hughes or Capo generational talents? If the Ducks don't get a top 3 pick, what's plan B?
No and no. And then to...
Wait, really?
I have no idea.
But as of now, do you think they're generational talents?
Probably not.
I would say yes.
I mean, what do we define as generational?
Generational means they're going to be they're going to be top 5 at their position for their career.
No, generational to me is like McDavid or Crosby. Or is that all time?
That's all time. That's a different level. Generation, like Patrick Kane's in the generational talent.
Patrick Kane is generational. Yeah, I mean, are they going to be the best players, some of the best players of their generation? Are you not going to be able to talk about their generation without talking about those guys? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So sure, generational.
Yeah, I think after them,
like whatever the hell that means, probably.
I think after them, it falls off a little bit from generational level, but I still think that the top 5 to top 10 has some really good players in there that could be the Getzlaf replacement that we've been looking for. So
within the top 10,
within the top 10, I think top 5 specifically has that.
Honestly, I don't know this draft class well enough right now to say anything after the top 3.
Top 5 is supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah. So take it for what it's worth.
Okay. But so in terms of if they don't get a top 3 pick, what's plan B? I think plan B is taking whatever draft spot they get.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think there's really a plan B because I don't think you ever plan A around getting the top pick.
No.
Because there's I mean, if you do, that's really a bad plan because at best, you have a 14% chance.
Yeah.
So that's not a good idea, but I understand what the question is asking. And so plan B is you just hold on to that pick and you take what you can get. Well, I mean, I don't see them trading that pick. Or do you try trading up? I
think our Twitch chat kind of comes up with a decent thing for generational talent in that if they're going to if you think they'll eventually make the Hockey Hall of Fame, that's generational.
Oh, well, okay.
That's projecting out a lot, but that's basing it off their skill.
Yeah, I mean, so Patrick Kane is generational. Jonathan Taves generational.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to go with
Jack? Is Jack Eichel a generational talent?
Time will tell. Only time will tell.
Is Austin Matthews a generational talent? Don't do that.
Yes.
He's overrated.
Carey Price, not generational talent.
Wow. That could be more wrong. Could not be more wrong.
Jordan Cassidy on Twitter said, tinfoil hat time. Is Getzlaf actually hurt or is he being scratched for a different reason?
I mean, I think he's hurt. I
think he's hurt right now. I would not be...
go ahead.
I would not be shocked if down the stretch this season, if maybe they tell him to just take time off.
That's kind of where I fall down on is that he's hurting. For those who can't see in the video, I'm doing air quotes. I think that he probably has something that's ailing him where if this were still a meaningful season with games that mattered, he would probably be playing through it. But because, wouldn't hurt to catch a break here and there, he's hurt for now.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Because think about it, Bob Murray's mission right now is to evaluate his team. What is he going to see in Ryan Getzlaf that he doesn't already know?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And it's also why would you not want to let him rest? I mean, especially with the wear and tear that happens on the body with playing the game of hockey. He's a prideful guy and is going to care about the final stretch of the season playing well, but I mean, maybe you need to sit him down and say, we need you being in better shape for next season than these last couple games.
Yeah, exactly. It's over.
Mm-hmm. So let me see. If there's any more questions, let us know in the Twitch chat. But I mean, I think that's probably going to do it for tonight. I mean, like we said, this game was kind of The Ducks laid an egg. The Oilers are bad. Overall, it was a good night for the tank.
The only reason to watch the Oilers wasn't in the game tonight, so that's kind of a rough one on the entertainment value.
Yeah,
this was a rough night for me. The Warriors lost. The Canadians lost.
I mean,
brutal.
On a positive night, Gritty was on fire today. He went streaking.
On a positive note, your Flyers won.
They didn't end up winning me as much money as I thought they would. Still was a decent amount.
On a positive note, my Blue Jackets won their second game.
How
in a
are
row.
they your Blue Jackets?
I'm commandeering the Blue Jackets.
How? No, you don't get to say your Blue Jackets with 20 games left. If you're gonna call them yours, like with my Avalanche, that was simply because I called it like with half a season left. Lockdown Late Night gave us 100 bits as a cheer, saying this is just so you know I love you and your crusty analysis. This is specifically you to Felix. It's a refreshing crust in how objectively wise it is 99% of the time.
Damn, what's going on with that 1%?
I mean, the 1% is you trolling and saying Carey Price is the GOAT.
My Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's get back to that. My Lumbus. Dude, I'm all in. I'm all in.
We can't talk about the trades. We can't talk about the trades.
I'm not talking about the trades. I'm just talking about the team.
We can't.
I'm all in.
Patreon pod on Monday. Patreon pod on Monday for this breakdown.
Lumbus.
You get to hear Felix talk about his Lumbus even more.
My Lumbus. Anyway.
So I think that's going to do it, though, for the show tonight.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us tonight, guys.
I do want to do, it's time for your Tankathon update, people.
Oh.
I know you've missed it. We've kind of held off on doing it, but it's back. Let's see. First time.
Wow.
First time we got the Ducks getting first overall and the Kings getting second. Jack Hughes to Anaheim, Kako to LA. That actually would be awesome, even though I hate the Kings. Not going to lie, that would be amazing. You have the Hughes Kako rivalry in Southern California for 10 to 15 years. That'd be great, actually.
Yeah, no, that would be interesting. Okay, anything else you want to mention here, or am I safe to start wrapping up?
I think you're safe to start wrapping it up. I just needed to do that for myself.
Jake needed to remind himself why he's still going as a Ducks fan.
Yep.
By the way, drinking out of that nice drink koozie there.
Oh, do you want to see yours, by the way?
Yeah, what does mine look like?
It's still right here. Still sitting for me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You owe me a few beers. You owe me all the beers that you drank out of that.
Oh, I haven't put any in there. It's only meant for Coors Light cans, and I don't drink Coors Light.
I may actually have a few Miller Lights tonight just to enjoy myself. What did I want to say? Oh, yes. So Monday is the trade deadline, 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will get all the answers to the questions, the rumors, the rumblings. We will know who will have been traded and to where.
We'll know what paper transactions happen, because as a Ducks fan, I'm excited for it.
Absolutely. And so we will be doing a bonus podcast for our Patreon supporters. So if you are not yet a supporter, patreon.com/acpod, $5 a month. You get 2 bonus episodes. And honestly, if you love good hockey content, if you love supporting people who are trying to bring a new angle to this kind of media world of hockey, $5 a month, please show some support. We really do appreciate it. So if you're not yet a supporter, or if you are, once you are actually in and through the door, Monday, we will be doing a bonus podcast for the supporters, breaking down every single trade of the trade deadline. So we're going league-wide. We're going in-depth. I am super pumped for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're not yet a supporter, go ahead. Go to that link, patreon.com/acpod. It's in the description of this podcast if you're listening to the recorded version. So we greatly appreciate that. Yep. Also, Monday night, the Ducks will play the Vancouver Canucks. And so we will be in the post-game show for that episode. We will be breaking down the Ducks trade deadline. So don't worry, if you're not a supporter, if you choose not to give us $5 a month, again, totally your decision. But if you choose not to do that, then we will still be doing a breakdown of the Ducks activity on deadline day Monday night. So fear not, we've got you covered either way.
The Patreon episode will not be live. I just got a question in the chat from that. It's going to be a recorded type episode, and we'll post it as soon as we're done recording it, pretty much right afterwards. So we'll be ready to go probably during the Canucks game. And the other thing is our episodes are now on YouTube. Also, you can find the channel by searching Anaheim Calling SB Nation into YouTube. And if you want to go and subscribe to that channel and like the video and watch it on there, that actually does help out a lot. So if you want to do that as a way to support us, that also helps.
Yeah, and El Miko is asking in the chat, is Patreon a live podcast?
I just mentioned.
General? I know, but you talked about the episode specifically.
Got it.
And in general, we have not done those live. Those are recorded only. We may try to find a way to do a subscriber only stream. I don't know.
There's a way.
Don't hold your breath, but we're constantly looking for ways to
Felix is throwing things out, and then I have to research it.
Well, I mean, it's in we're trying to, anything we can do to make that $5 more worth it. Another thing I should mention, we have a Discord chat for our supporters. So
all patrons, whether you supported the $1 level or $5 level.
Yes, for all. Yeah, so whether it's the $1 or the $5, you can actually just chat with us. So when trades are happening during the day, we can just jump into that chat and kind of, you can see my hot takes.
I'm in there.
Jake's hashtag Terry's.
I'm in there a fair amount.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We're just trying to give you more value for every level, whether it's the $1 tier or the $5 tier. Also, we got asked about this in the chat, but do we have a date on the watch party?
Oh, we do. It's going to be the 23rd, the game on the 23rd, I believe, against the Kings. That ended
March 23rd?
March 23rd. Let me.
Well, there's no game on April 23rd, so.
That's a good point. Let me.
So 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, let me just confirm that really quickly for you. That did not work. Give me one sec. If you want to keep wrapping it up.
Well, let's see here. I think I have it up. Sorry, folks. Not great listening here. Where is the poll that you put up?
It's March 23rd.
March 23rd, yeah. So, in a month from now. All right. So,
keep an eye on the Patreon page. I'll be posting when we have places locked down and everything like that. That's where it's going to go. It's going to be all communicated on there simply because we wanted to keep it to keep it to patrons only.
Yes. So, thanks a lot for listening, guys. And if you haven't already, make sure to check us out on the Apple Podcast app. Leave a rating and a review. If you've been enjoying the show, check us out on Twitter. I'm at Felix_Sicard. Jake is on Twitter at ReindeerGames91. AnaheimCalling.com at AnaheimCalling. That will do it for us tonight, guys. And we will talk to you Monday after what will hopefully be a busy day. Talk to you then.
Bye.